Have you ever felt lost in what it is that you're supposed to be doing in life? Well, chances are that means you haven't really found your purpose yet. And that might be okay. And that's what we're talking about today is finding your purpose. Welcome to the Five Squad. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Five Squad. My name is Evan Andrews.
I'm Haley Andrews.
And for those that don't know us, we are a husband and wife duo that are sitting here talking about life, family, entrepreneurship, faith
And how to
a little
juggle it all.
bit, and
How to juggle it all.
how to freaking juggle it all. But today is one that I'm honestly particularly excited to talk about a
I was
little
just going
bit.
to say, this might be one of my favorite.
We might cry today on this episode.
It might be a little more lengthy, I might add, than our average.
It might, but we're
gonna try.
We're gonna try and pack it into our allotted time that we give. But today is about finding your purpose, right? And I think this one
I
don't
really
know
gets
that
me
this
in my
is
feels.
something that everybody struggles with.
No, I don't know. Like, we'll have to see what people say.
Or I think that people struggle with it at different parts of their life.
Or different levels, I guess.
And
Like,
definitely
but
the
I think for the
extremes
two-
yeah.
But for both of us, I don't know that this is normal either, but for both of us, we have really experienced this on a pretty similar level.
Yeah.
Pretty deep,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
but in different aspects of it.
Yeah,
So
and
we'll have
I
a
think,
good perspective
I think
here.
any one particular person can experience this differently because there's so many aspects of
course.
purpose, right?
Definitely.
Like, you can think about like, what's my purpose, in a particular environment,
Right.
What's my purpose overall in life,
Absolutely.
right? And kind of depending on what avenue you're trying to uncover or unfold or whatever, I think there's levels to difficulty to identifying and figuring out what that purpose is. I mean, for me, I think having a purpose is honestly, it's really essential to understanding where you're going.
It's
right?
clarity.
Yes, yeah.
100%.
And this is probably the biggest thing that I struggle with, and I struggle with it from the standpoint of work more than anything else, right? I sometimes don't know
If you're on the right path.
Well, if I'm on the right path, or if the things that I've chosen to
Pursue.
invest in and pursue are the things that I really am passionate about, or
It's
really
so funny to hear you say that because
Or
on
really
the outside, like I
just
can't imagine anything else for you.
Well, right. But I always attribute this to like when I was a younger kid, like, yeah, we had things that we were into and that we liked or whatever.
Or what you want to be when you grow up.
Kinda, but I just always remember as a kid, I never really honestly gave a shit about something super like hardcore.
Right.
Like it was kind of like a lot of my default things in terms of feelings were kind of, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that helped me maybe get through childhood a little bit, like maybe not be in certain feels or whatever, or something,
Because you were just like, it is what it is,
what
and
it
move
is,
on.
right? Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite.
But I think that has severely affected my young adult life in
Going big.
in knowing that there has to be a purpose, there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
But just I have no idea what it is.
Right.
Right. And it's scary. It's
It is
like
very scary.
I always attribute it to like a fog in front of me that I can't see through.
like a constant fall.
All the time.
You can't
Yeah.
ever get out.
Like it's like the fog is like getting closer to me. Because they always say, like, I think the Brendan Bouchard in the Growth Day, like and I've heard this from other people too, but it's like they say, like, can you see the next step in front of you?
We've discussed this a lot
just
too.
Take that step. And sometimes it's like I look down and it's like I can't even see my feet.
I was
like,
just gonna say, sometimes I think when you're trying to understand your purpose in life, you hear things like that all the time, like just take your next step, or what do you see in the future, or what do you see here? And what I hope that we can get across to some of the audience today is that it's okay if you don't even see your feet. And I think that's something that we've really been able to be on the same page about is like, we haven't always seen our feet or the next step or what's the long run. And I think it's definitely okay. Which is kind of like where I want to share where I've struggled with this. I mean, my most personal reflection of, I guess, when I first questioned my purpose, I've always questioned mine, like 100% always. I've spent my entire life from childhood on just chasing things that I thought were purposeful. I mean, the things are purposeful, but it wasn't my purpose.
Yeah. Again, that's that like people please.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So for me, I always saw a next step. That didn't mean it was my next step.
Right.
So I was constantly taking this step here, this, do this. Yes, say yes to this. And I'm going to try this.
Bow-legged steps.
I know, really, like kind of that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
But for me personally, man, this wasn't supposed to be like.
I told you we're crying today on this episode.
For me personally, I didn't really know how to even find it because none of it felt me until I stopped looking. I stopped trying to define my own purpose. I stopped trying to follow a purpose that looked like what people would want for me or what I thought it looked like. And I started just living and realizing that putting my faith in my Father and really letting go of my own understanding. It wasn't until then that my purpose started
manifesting.
My feet started being visible. My steps started being clear, and the overall plan for me, and that fog actually lifted. And I hope that I'm going to speak on a mom's behalf for right now, but I hope other moms can hear a little bit from my emotion in this statement that being a mom is the biggest purpose that I overlooked for myself. And from as young as I can remember, all I ever wanted was to be the mom that I sometimes didn't have. And that is nothing against my mom. Yeah. But I always needed a strong, supportive, and encouraging mom. And I became that. Yeah. And I overlooked that in my purpose on a daily basis. But it wasn't until I really gave it up at the foot of the cross and said, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, what is my purpose? That I started to see motherhood that is my number one focus. And my number two is my marriage. I had never seen a good marriage. And I used to joke that I didn't believe in marriage. And I thought all marriages were a sham. And I was never going to get married. And I was okay with it. Like, really, I identified with that. I was going to be fine no matter what in life because I just wasn't going to get married. It wasn't real. And that was my next purpose, is to create and establish and have a marriage that is worth living for. And it's weird because those two things, they don't bring in any money. They're not work. Right. They're not work like the society would define work. Right. But for me, those are the two things that I put in. The hardest work. And it's crazy to me that, my faith really did lead me to accepting that those two things are my purpose, and leaning into them has brought success in every other area that I was chasing. Yeah. In a sense.
Yeah. I mean, for me, you kind of,
sorry, for what I
understand from what you just spoke about, that's kind of how you navigated the dark time of trying to understand that purpose.
Yeah, I think understanding my purpose has been mostly dark, just like you said, the fog and not being able to see.
Well, I know for me, because I kind of experienced this. I mean, it's been a couple months now, but I went through a little episode where I just had no idea if I was on the right path or if I, wanted to continue doing what I was doing. But I think the thing that helped me the most was you, number one. And then two, just staying like, it's like the shiny object syndrome or the girl in the red dress. Like, it's kind of like if you just keep doing the thing that you're doing, as long as the thing that you're doing isn't like a toxic thing or whatever, and
not drugs,
you know what? Yeah, not drugs. But
just keep going.
Yes, it's just the fact that I kept doing the things that I was doing, and I learned that like I actually do like doing this particular thing, and
like we always talk about.
Yeah, and sometimes, like navigating those dark times, it's taking that step even if you can't see the foot, right?
But sometimes when you...
And it's scary.
I like that we're saying that you can't see the foot, because I really have never thought of it like that until you said that, because it's true. You can't even see the next step if you can't see your feet. Yeah. But I think that's where,
Because in that statement, they always say, like, can you see your next step? Most of the people look down and say, yeah, I can. But
no. But that's what I was going to say. Like, navigating those dark times and going through finding your purpose actually sometimes is difficult if you don't have someone like each other or God or anybody, helping you see your feet.
Right.
And I think with the two of us, we're obviously always encouraging each other, but always reminding ourselves and each other at the end of the day that, like, when you can't see your feet, just remember that God can, and He's leading them, and letting go. And we've done a really good job reminding each other of that. I think that's why it's extremely important to have other people in your life as you're navigating those difficult times,
And even those decisions to, like,
whatever your faith may be, by the way.
Right. And like even that decision to say, like, I give it all to Him or whatever. I mean, that's a decision. It's a tough decision. It's like, is that the right thing? Like,
I mean, seriously, especially for someone like me that I want to control literally everything, like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, that is, but that is a decision that goes into understanding, navigating, and discovering your purpose and pursuing your purpose. It's a decision and a discipline that you have to make.
Yeah.
Whatever your faith journey is, whatever you believe, you have to believe.
Right.
You have to make that choice to believe, to pursue, to let go, for the rest of it to come into clarity.
Yeah. And I think some tangible things that you can associate this, towards is...
love tangible things.
Well, it's like one thing that'll pull you out of that, we'll call it a rut, in that. Then some people's ruts are years and some people's ruts are days. But I think goal setting is an important thing, because that can be something that you can do quickly to be able to get you out of that.
I think that's actually, you said some people's ruts are years, and I never really identified with something more in my life, because most of my life has been kind of that rut. But what got me through, especially like going through college with all of my children very young, I was 20 when I had them, and going through all of that rut was, I had a goal, and that was, I had to graduate college to be able to provide a life for them. And not to toot my own horn, but I graduated second in my class from U of H. But those goals, setting those goals gave me something to look forward to push forward to.
The purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because had I not had something to follow, I definitely wouldn't be able to see my feet. Like nothing.
Yeah.
But that's like you. I mean, what kind of goals do you set for yourself when you're in a small... or like a tinier rut, not a year's rut, like a couple of days.
Sure. So I think my ruts, like in terms of my shorter ruts, they come in where they are, like if there's certain projects that I have on my plate that it's like, man, I just really don't know why I took this on,
right?
Or did certain things like that. It's kind of like an avoidance. It's an avoidance mechanism where it's like I'm just trying to avoid it,
right?
And I think that's where a lot of the emotions and stuff kind of stem from,
right?
But just getting them done.
Yeah.
Whether or not it because I fully understand everything is not a passion project.
Right.
Everything is not like, I have obviously a standard that I want to meet for myself as a business and all of that. And I have to put a certain level of give a shit into it.
Right.
Right. But the not avoiding the things that I know that I want to avoid, I think is the easiest way to set a goal and
And
get
some
it
of the
off.
goals don't have to be like this huge.
Yeah, they don't have to be monumental.
You know what the
no.
goal could be is I'm going to take regular breaks.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, some of the tangible, practices, and we'll get more into this in later episodes because I'm really passionate when it comes to this self-development type of things, but pursuing your purpose and finding those ways to discovering it. I think journaling is, I used to make fun of it so bad in the beginning, but
I still can't
journaling,
get on
I
it.
know you
Like,
can't, but journaling,
I've tried several times and I just
but
can't.
and that's okay. That's a
It's a personality thing,
difference.
I think. Yeah.
Yes, but I think journaling or finding some way to take an assessment of yourself or reflection of yourself,
Get it out of your head.
getting it out of your head, getting feedback from trusted people, not just anybody. You definitely don't want to just go, hey, what do you think about this? Because if it's not someone that has the same beliefs or the like-minded people as yourself, it's definitely not going to help.
Right.
But some of those things really have helped me become more me.
Yeah.
Journaling, setting goals, like you said.
Yeah.
Reflecting on yourself and your journey and just getting encouragement from people. I mean, get outside of your own head.
Yep.
That's really, really helpful.
And I think those are the little things that are the hardest things to do.
But it is the little things that make the best big things, I'm telling you.
That is true.
Because think about it, it's like the little people in our family that make the whole.
Yep.
If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be the 5 Squad.
That's very true. We would definitely not be doing what we're doing right now without them. But that brings us to the end of another episode, babe. I enjoyed that one. That was a really good one.
I could go like
We probably could do another hour.
I really
just on that.
could because I think anybody that's watching, if you've ever felt like you don't have a purpose, I just really hope that we can encourage you to just remember that you do. And you may not know what it is today, you may not know tomorrow or next year, but you have a purpose and you have a reason to be here and a reason to keep pushing forward.
And one day it'll smack you in the face. But with that, you guys, if you hadn't made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you being with us, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify or anywhere else that you get your podcasts. We just want to say thank you. We ask that you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video with somebody.
And don't forget, your feedback helps us bring you more content that matters. So
that is
whatever you like, let us know.
Very true.
What you want to hear about, let us know.
Very true. And don't forget that every day is a new chance to get it right. I want you to keep pushing forward and stay inspired. Thanks for watching the 5 Squad.
See you next time.